that tonight as we're waiting for some of these returns to come in. Of course, as you know, the polls close at the top of the hour at 7 o'clock. I talked to Mick just a little bit ago, and he said, you know, he's a little nervous for tonight. You know, obviously it is all on the line tonight for the former mayor of Oklahoma City. This is his first statewide campaign, and he said that, you know, it was very interesting to tour the state of Oklahoma and hear from voters. And I asked him specifically about Tulsa and Green Country. Did he feel like he did enough to secure the vote for tonight? And he said that he thinks that he did, and he said it didn't matter if it was Oklahoma City, it didn't matter if it was Bixby, Broken Arrow, Tulsa, Muskogee, or if it was rural parts of the state, up north, out west. He said, you know, he really didn't hear a big difference in what voters wanted. He said that voters are concerned about education, tax reform, the criminal justice system, money, financing, new jobs, the creation and growth of jobs and businesses, Dave. So, you know, very optimistic that he did everything that he could. He knows he has a lot of support here in Oklahoma City, and he knew it was going to be a bit of a challenge to reach out to voters in Green Country, knowing that's Kevin Stitt's territory, but said that he really feels like he and his campaign did a very good job of that. I want to bring in Melissa Bogle here. Melissa is from Broken Arrow, and we talked with Melissa. You may recognize her during the primary. Good to see you again, Melissa.
Good to see you too. Thank you.
Tell me, you know, gosh, we've come a long way from when we last saw you. How you think the momentum has gone here leading up to this runoff election for Mick?
Well, I think the campaign's done a good job, particularly with women and the Women's Coalition, of encouraging them to get involved in the campaign, listen to their concerns, and give us a chance to express our voices, which, frankly, a lot of campaigns have not really encouraged in the past.
How do you feel like Mick and his campaign have done as far as trying to reach out to voters in Tulsa and Green Country? You know, obviously a lot of support there for Kevin Stitt tonight.
I know that Mick has been, I think it's to 77 counties, so he's been all over this state, talking to people, listening to people, which is, I think, key, listening to people. So I believe he's shown people he's interested not just in Oklahoma City, not just in Tulsa, but the state as a whole.
What issues really matter to you and why Mick is your guy?
Well, obviously, education is huge to everyone, and a lot of people think, well, I don't have kids in school anymore, but it matters to the job industry, it matters to companies who are willing to move here. I have kids in college, I want them to stay here and work here and have their children here, so we've got to change our education system. Mick was for the teacher raise, Mick supports doing more. That's not what I'm hearing from other candidates, that they wouldn't have approved that raise, so I think it's key that education's broken and we've got to do something different and fix it.
Well, listen, I want to ask, you know, a lot of people obviously talking about this campaign and the political ads, and it, you know, got a little nasty. Your thoughts and your perception on those ads over the past few weeks?
You know, unfortunately, it seems that's the way of our world, and frankly, I don't like it. But it is sometimes the only way to get information out, and I think, you know, it's okay to point out you have disagreements that you have. I think it has gotten to where people are more interested in pointing out half-truths or untruths, and I'm not in support of that.
Is there anything about Kevin Stitt and his campaign that was a turnoff for you? You know, a lot of people have obviously back home support Kevin, a businessman, really want to see somebody representing Tulsa, representing the entire state. Were there any things that his campaign kind of narrowed in on that maybe turned you off a bit?
You know, it's funny you say that, because actually yesterday I saw an interview that had me very concerned and flabbergasted, frankly. I mean, we all know that he has not voted in almost 20 years for the governor, and I don't understand not exercising your right to vote. I've always told my children, if you don't vote, you don't get a right to complain. And now to be asking people to come out and vote for him is a little bit of irony there. But the thing that flabbergasted me was I saw a complete interview, there was no editing, and he said, I'm not a politician, that's why I haven't voted. And that answer, I'm not sure what to do with that answer, frankly, because I'm not a politician, but I vote all the time.
I know, we're excited for these numbers to start coming in tonight.
Yeah, I'm very anxious to see it. I'm obviously positive and I'm hopeful, and you know, we need a governor that's got lots of experience. And you know, one thing I'll tell you is I've lived in Oklahoma all my life, and I had a certain perception of Oklahoma City, and I started a job 7 years ago where I worked both in Tulsa and in Oklahoma City, and I was absolutely floored forward in the changes in Oklahoma City. And that's one of the biggest things I've thought is I want that for our state. I want those kind of positive changes.
Melissa, thank you so much. It was great seeing you again tonight. All right. So again, Dave, we're going to be here all night watching these numbers as they start to come in. We haven't seen any of those returns just yet. I got to check my News on 6 app to see how we're doing. I know that Mick was talking about possibly joining us. If we can get Mick, we will certainly let you guys know. We'll come back to us here live at Tower Theater in Oklahoma City here for you, Dave. Back to you.
Brian, thank you so much. And on that race, it is 53% to 47% right now, with about 10% of the precincts reporting Kevin Stitt on top. And that's a 2,500, maybe about close to 2,000 vote differential there. So Kevin Stitt, again, he lost in the primary. He made it to the final 2, but Mick won the primary, so a little reversal of fortune there. So let's talk about how candidates are doing online, specifically social media. Some of the candidates in this race have gone almost exclusively online. Tim Gilpin, we've seen him with some traditional advertising. He's gone on social media as well, so you can see there a post that he made about 45 minutes ago talking about eagerly awaiting the results here in Tulsa at the Tulsa Little Theater. Tim Gilpin, the one of the nominees, the hopeful nominee for Congressional House District number 1. Libertarian candidate Chris Powell, who was leading it last check, he was talking about earlier in the day how polls, he's been very active. Chris Powell's been very active on Facebook today, encouraging people to go and vote. Matt Pinnell, we spoke to him down at Flying T and Jenks, talking about going to vote. And we're just seeing this. This is kind of the 2018 grassroots effort, is you have to have a presence on Facebook, it seems like. This is Ashley Nicole McCrae. She's one of the Democratic candidates for Corporation Commissioner, and so you can see there she's been active, and she's kept a really well updated website as well. So that's Ashley Nicole McCrae. Dana Murphy, one of the Lieutenant Governor candidates on the Republican side, a former Oklahoma Corporation Commissioner, and she their very polished look. And really, Facebook is such a key, and it's such a key to look good, I think, and a lot of these are very polished Facebook ads. Jason Nichols, now this gentleman, he's the Congressional District 2 Democratic candidate, a Tahlequah mayor, and there's his picture there. So you can see this is pretty much the thrust today on social media. Just go and vote, go and vote, go and vote. We're seeing them doing it in all different ways. We've seen candidates post videos of themselves talking about the reason that they need to vote. Kevin Stitt pulling that up again about 2 hours ago, reminding people to go out. The Oklahoma Democratic Party posting a Facebook Live video about 2 hours ago. So that's just a kind of a rundown of what's been happening on Facebook. The Election Watch Party also, this is interesting too, for Gentner Drummond, one of the Attorney General Republican candidates. He was talking about a watch party at Agora Event Center here in Tulsa, and he of course is from Tulsa. So he was out waving signs as well, as many of them were. So that is a look at the runoff primary, the primary runoff here for 2018. About 10% of precincts reporting. That's a general number that we're seeing all the way across the board. So results are coming in now. We've almost been closed. The polls have been almost been closed for an hour. So join us again as we will come back to Facebook Live, come back to News on 6's YouTube channel for all of our digital coverage, and of course watch Craig and Terry live on TV as they give you updates throughout the evening as well. Thanks for watching.